Hi, beautiful souls. Today, I want to share something deeply personal to me. How I live my life in a very gentle way as a highly sensitive person, and why this works so well for me. So, before I knew I was a highly sensitive person, I really tried to be different. I tried to shapeshift. I tried to hide my sensitivity. I tried to toughen up. I tried to be what people wanted me to be. In every situation, I would change myself to fit that particular situation or that particular environment until I learned that I'm a highly sensitive person. When I learned that I'm a highly sensitive person, everything changed for me. I began to understand my sensitivity in a very profound way. I understood myself for the very first time. I had words to put to everything that I was feeling, everything that I was experiencing. There was a term to describe me that I never knew existed. And for the first time, I realized that my sensitivity is something I cannot fix. As hard as I try to hide it, to shapeshift, to change myself for each of the various situations that I would be in, I realized that there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to change. I can't, even if I wanted to. It's something that it's a genetic personality trait that I was born with. And once I learned that this is not something that I can change, I came to really learn a lot about it, understand what high sensitivity is all about. And this is when I learned that my sensitivity means that I will see the world very deeply, very thoroughly. I will notice things that others miss. I will see the change in someone's facial expressions or body language that tells me that they're sad without them ever having to tell me that they're sad. I can walk in a room and be able to feel the tension in the room, be able to pick up on the energy of the room and each individual person that's in the room. I would be able to read the room like there's no tomorrow. I mean, I can know exactly what I need to shift, what I need to do differently based on what I was observing in the moment, which was very helpful to me, specifically when it would be meetings that I would be running myself. So slowly I learned to be myself. I learned to embrace my sensitivity. I learned to be me, unapologetically. I can't say that word very clearly. Me. And I learned to love myself. I learned to respect myself. I learned to be me all the time, not shapeshift, not hide my sensitivity, not hide my emotions. I gave myself permission to really feel my emotions, to process them, to release them from my body and not let them fester and, pile on top of each other and then blow up like a volcano. And I'm sharing this with you because if you are a highly sensitive person, this is exactly what I want for you. I want you to understand your sensitivity. I want you to accept your sensitivity, and I want you to love it, honor it, cherish it. Realize the beauty that you have to offer to this world, especially now, especially during the time that we're facing right now, where people are not compassionate, not empathetic, not caring. They care about themselves. It's all about them. It's all about self, being worried about yourself and not the impact that you have on others. How beautiful would it be if more of us on this planet would be highly sensitive? I know we can't change that because it's a personality trait that we're born with, but what we can do is we can shine. We can let ourselves shine as bright as possible, and we can have those positive impacts on people's lives. We can show our compassion, our empathy, our nurturing, thoughtful, caring self, and not hide it, and not see it as a weakness. The saddest thing is that for the longest time, I did see it as a weakness, and I really dimmed my light to fit in to places. And I didn't let myself shine. I didn't let people see the beauty of the high sensitivity that I had in me. When I thought outside of the box and I came up with these amazing solutions nobody else saw it. And so, since nobody else saw it, I thought there was something wrong with me. I saw it as a weakness, not as a strength. I mean, that is so sad when I look back at it and I'm like, oh my God, I came up with all these amazing solutions to these problems that we were facing for years. And instead of sharing them, I would just hide them. And I would be like, well, I don't know, should I share it? Nobody else seems to see it my way. Then it must be wrong. It must be that it's just me. And maybe if it, if more people, if it was really a good solution, more people would see it. But the few times that I actually shared my solution with people, I saw how amazing it was. And I saw how my solution was very, very well thought out. I looked at it from many different angles. I saw different nuances within it, even only seeing nuances in a part of the whole picture, not just the entire picture, but even a component of it made a difference, and made a huge difference. And some of the solutions that I came up with, 10, 15 years ago are still being used today. How amazing is that, that because of my depth of processing, I was able to look at a solution that would be long lasting and not just for the moment. It was not a quick fix. It was something that lasted years over years over years, and now even potentially it could go into decades. And we're talking about technology here. Technology changes so rapidly, and if a solution is lasting this long, that means that it was the depth of processing that went into creating that solution. It took months to come up with that solution. It wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't an answer that I came up with right on the spot. It was months of research and analysis and digging and exploring and looking at things from different perspectives. And then I came up with that solution. And I used people's expertise. It wasn't just me, right? I wasn't isolating myself. I was working with the experts in the field to gather information, to gather all the details and subject matter expertise that I didn't have. So that's the other component of thinking, having a deep way of thinking, a thorough way of thinking, because you bring in everything that is necessary for solving that solution or for coming up with a different way of thinking, a different perspective and different product. It all comes from one component of being highly sensitive, which is depth of processing. And then add to that the other components, empathy, seeing subtleties that others miss, being able to pick up on the energy of other people, on how they're feeling, what they're sensing, what's going on with them. All of this in combination makes who we are, right? And we should be grateful for that. How amazing is it that we're at 1 out of 5 people are highly sensitive? So we have that unique gift that we were born with that we could be utilizing on a daily basis instead of hiding from it. If you're a highly sensitive person, what I want you to know is I really hope that you go through the same revelation that I went through in understanding how amazing your sensitivity is, understanding every aspect of being highly sensitive, accepting it, and knowing that this is a gift that you're born with. This is a strength, a superpower that you were born with, and that it's unique to you, and it's amazing that you're amongst the 20% of the global population with this personality trait. And I hope that you too can learn to live your life the way it makes sense to you. Today I live my life in a very gentle way. I wake up, in a gentle way with no alarm clocks. If I have to have an alarm clock, I set it to a very gentle tone. I love birds, so I set it to chirping, birds chirping, and that's how I wake up in the morning. And then I take my time to get ready. I don't rush. I have my morning ritual that I follow every single day that works for me and honors me and honors my sensitivity. And then I go throughout my day in a very intentional way, that where I take breaks, I honor my sensitivity in knowing when I need to take breaks and what I need to do to regulate my nervous system so that my nervous system is always balanced, and that helps me not get overstimulated, which is one of the areas that you could see as a weakness being a highly sensitive person. But I know how to manage that overstimulation on a daily basis. I know how to regulate myself on a daily basis so that I don't go into the fight or flight state, so that I do stay in the rest and digest state of just being able to move throughout the day in a very intentional and methodical way that really nurtures me, my nervous system, and my body, my emotions, my soul, really. So that's what I hope that you find as well. I hope that you see your traits, you figure out what your strengths are, you figure out what your superpowers are, and that you embrace everything that there is about being highly sensitive, and you honor it and you cherish it and you see it as a gift and you see it as a beauty that it is. And in closing, I just want you to know, living gently as a highly sensitive person doesn't mean that, you live a small life. It doesn't mean that you don't live intentionally and that you don't have big goals and you don't have, a successful career, that you play life small. It doesn't. It just means that you play life the way that your system is meant to, the way that honors you as a person and as a highly sensitive person, and that you move the way your body wants to move in a nice, gentle, slow fashion. There's no rushing. There's no rushing doesn't equate, being a better person, being a stronger person, being a wiser person. I used to walk super fast when I was in the corporate world, and I thought that's what I needed to do in order to show that I am confident, that I'm a, strong player, and that I'm doing well in my career. And now I don't do that. I walk in a gentle way because that's what my body wants from me. I don't like to be rushed. I don't like to walk fast. I don't need to do anything in a rushed, fast pace because my body is not designed for that. My body is designed for slow, intentional, methodical processing, taking time to process, taking time to understand, because the end result is going to be phenomenal. I guarantee it. This is how my life is. When I honor myself, whatever I work on is going to have a better result when I actually honor who I am and what I'm about. And that's what I want for you. I still take risks. I still, have dreams, big dreams. I still have goals. I still engage deeply with the world. I'm not isolating myself. I'm not making my life small in any way. I'm simply living how life resonates with me, and I'm honoring my nervous system. And that's what I want for you. I hope that that's what you take away from my story, that you will start to honor yourself and your sensitivity and live authentically and live your best version, because that's exactly what you're going to do when you live authentically. And if you are a highly sensitive person, I want you to know that your sensitivity is a gift. I want you to know that it's not something to hide. It's not something that you need to shapeshift to fit wherever you're, whatever environment you're in. It is nothing that you need to overcome. It's a gift that you should treat with care, that you should see as your compass, as your guide to living your best life and living with deep peace and letting yourself just shine as bright as possible. I want to read a poem from Rumi, which resonates with me. I love Rumi so much, and I love all his poems. And it's the Rumi says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by this strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." For me, this strange pull is towards gentleness, and it's led me home to myself. I hope the same for you. If this resonates with you, please like it and subscribe to my channel. If you like to work with me on a one-on-one basis, I offer a complimentary 15-minute complimentary session and the link is in the description. Thank you and see you in the next video. Okay, I think I want to do this later.